Brad Williams, Frugal Finance. Let's discuss a little about Medicare. What does Medicare cost? I'm going to go through, and this link will be posted below. This is just a general overview. You're going to have to do your own due diligence and compute the numbers. It is a task within itself to try to reconcile all this information. Way too many moving parts in a program. Currently, 63 million participants enrolled in Medicare. You can see how challenging it is to manage this thing. So what does Medicare cost? Generally, you pay a monthly premium for Medicare coverage, and part of the cost each time you get a covered service. There's no yearly limit on what you pay out of pocket unless you have supplemental coverage like Medicare Supplement Insurance Medigap policy, or you join a Medicare Advantage plan. These are just the bare bones costs if you're not going to use the supplemental or advantage plan. Cost for Part A hospital insurance, you pay in 2025, zero for most people because they paid Medicare tax long enough while working, generally at least 10 years. This is sometimes called premium-free Part A. If you don't qualify for premium-free Part A, you might be able to buy it. In 2025, the premium is either $285 or $518 each month, depending on how long you or your spouse worked and paid Medicare taxes. You might also have to sign up for Part B to buy Part A. If you don't buy Part A when you're first eligible for Medicare when you turn 65, you might pay a penalty. Part A deductible, $1,676 you're admitted to the hospital per benefit period. Before original Medicare starts to pay, there's no limit to the number of benefit periods you can have. Inpatient stays, you can read this on your own. 1 through 60, zero after you pay your deductible. 61 to 90, $419 each day, and then 91 to 150, $830 each day. That's a lot of money. Cost for Part B medical insurance, what you pay in 2025, $185 each month or higher depending on your income. The amount can change each year. You'll pay the premium each month even if you don't get any Part B covered services. You can go through and click these links if you want. I have videos on all of this information, so check out my long video list under Medicare. You may pay a penalty if you don't sign up for Part B when you're first eligible for Medicare. How much is the Part B late enrollment penalty? You'll pay an extra 10% for each year you could have signed up for Part B but didn't. This penalty is added to your monthly Part B premium. You may also pay a higher premium depending on your income. It's not a one-time late fee. You'll pay the penalty for as long as you have Part B. Generally, you won't have to pay a penalty if you qualify for a special enrollment period. To qualify, you or your spouse must still be working and you must have health coverage based on that job. Part B deductible, you'll pay $257 before original Medicare starts to pay. You pay this deductible once each year. Cost for services, you'll usually pay 20% of the cost for each Medicare covered service or item after you've paid your deductible. So for example, you end up in the hospital. You go through the emergency room. Then you have a room for 4 days. Well, that's going to cost you $100,000. You have $20,000 sitting around in order to cover those costs. That's the problem with this horrible program. Contrary to what other people may think, I think it's a horrible program. Cost for plans and supplemental coverage. What you pay in 2025, monthly premiums vary based on which plan you join. The amount can change each year. You may also have to pay an extra amount each month based on your income. You might pay a penalty if you don't join a Medicare drug plan when you first get Medicare and go 63 days or more without credible drug coverage. How much is the Part D penalty? You'll pay an extra 1% for each month. That's 12% a year. You could have signed up for Part D but didn't. The penalty is added to your monthly premium. It's not a one-time late fee. You'll pay the penalty each month as long as you have Part D coverage, even if you change plans. If you have credible drug coverage or if you qualify for extra help, you won't have to pay a penalty. When you get prescription drugs, most plans charge a deductible, an amount you paid before the plan starts to pay for prescriptions you fill. The deductible amount varies based on which plan you join. Your actual costs vary depending on the medicines you take, if they're on the plan's list of covered drugs, and which pharmacy you use. Medicare Advantage Plan Part C, monthly premiums vary based on which plan you join. The amount can change each year. You must keep paying your Part B premiums to stay in the plan. Deductibles, coinsurance, and copayments vary based on what plan you join. Plans also have a yearly limit on what you pay out of pocket. Once you pay the plan's limit, plan pays 100% for covered health services for the rest of the year. Medicare supplement insurance, monthly premiums vary based on which policy you buy, where you live, and other factors. The amount can change each year. You must keep paying your Part B premium to keep your supplemental insurance. Helps lower your share of costs for Part A and Part B services, original service, and some Medigap policies include extra benefits to lower your costs. Comment, in your opinion, about Medicare costs, about Medicare overall. Brad Williams, Frugal Finance. Thanks for watching. Hope that helps. See you soon.